What's up YouTube? I wanted to do a follow-up of 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 3 and my thoughts on it. Things have not been looking good for Code as of late. The time skip just started and he's already taking L after L after L. It's really kinda sad to watch, but at the same time, I still do think Code will have his time of providence down the line. I'm actually really impressed with Boruto's improvement over the time skip though. He's easily at Jigen level now. And I can't even imagine how well he should be able to channel the karma now as of late. Now I don't think we'll be seeing a Boruto vs Kawaki fight next chapter. The time skip just started, and I think Kishimoto is gonna wait a while before he jumps into something so drastic when we already know Boruto and Kawaki are destined to fight. Boruto also seems very much more interested in the Ten Tails at the moment. So since he's confirmed its location via the Toad, I believe next chapter Boruto will use his karma to track Code and arrive at his hideout, and Kawaki could possibly follow, but it's only speculation as of now. I do want to see how strong Kawaki has gotten over the time skip as well, and see whether or not he's relative to Boruto as of now. But at some point I know that the Ten Tails is probably going to tempt Code with more power, much like how in the 4th Great Shinobi World War, the God Tree told Madara to take it within himself. I believe the Ten Tails will start to tempt Code with power by telling Code to absorb it, which would lead to Ten Tails Code and Code gaining a massive power boost. But I'm not sure if the power boost will be able to overcome the effects of the Rasengan Uzuhiko. And back to Code. I talked in my last video about it, but I'm very interested to know the power granted by the White Karma Seal. The White Karma Seal sounds brilliant on paper, even better than the original Karma Seal in some ways. But given how easily Boruto shrugged off Code who was using his White Karma Seal, I can't really say it's been that impressive. It's also true that Code has been fighting the best of the best in the series, from Boruto, Kawaki, possibly Sasuke, and even scuffling with Damon. But not having any of the edge in the prior battles, especially while utilizing the White Karma Seal, I can't say that Code has been all that impressive. And as of this moment, I can't really see Code being the antagonist or the most major threat that has to be worried about right now. Instead, we've had even more time go by, as evident as the time skip. We know that 3 years have passed. So I wonder, why hasn't the Otsutsuki Clan made their move yet? Just what are they doing? I am interested to see how some of the characters time skip went and what they did over it, especially Boruto, and if he managed to link up with Kashin Koji. But the Otsutsuki Clan has been in the background of the series for most, if not all of the series as of now, and I'm ready to see some of their action and what they plan on doing going forward. Boruto is now 100% Otsutsuki, and Kawaki is too presumably, but both Boruto and Kawaki treated through the original process of the Karma Seal, which was resurrecting the Otsutsuki who bestowed the seal. But Ishiki failed to rebrand Kawaki with the Karma Seal before his lifespan ran out, and Momoshiki had to sacrifice 18% of his own data to resuscitate Boruto from dying, leaving his spirit in a limbo-like state within the Karma Seal. In both instances, the karma didn't fulfill its original purpose and instead became a weapon for Boruto and Kawaki. Boruto never has to fear that Momoshiki will resurrect, but there's still risk in Momoshiki taking over Boruto's consciousness. Kawaki was given his karma back through scientific means by Amado, so that he can access Ishiki's power, with presumably no drawbacks since Ishiki's soul is no longer attached to the Karma Seal. Kawaki declared that he'd eliminate all Otsutsuki using their own power, but that was a foolish thing to say. Absolute power leads to corruption, and that's been a fact throughout history. As made clear by Amado, there's still a lot about the Karma Seal we don't know yet. So Boruto and Kawaki are basically using power that they cannot comprehend. Maybe Boruto more so than Kawaki, given that he has Momoshiki's spirit attached to his Karma Seal, so he can gain insight to some degree. Having said that, I don't believe that the Otsutsuki Clan will like how Boruto and Kawaki have ended up with the Karma Seal, basically cheating through the process and gaining the power with no drawbacks. I believe the Otsutsuki Clan will try to punish Boruto and Kawaki in the future of the series, given that they both cheated through the process of karma. Much like in the Death Note one-shot, the Akira story. The Akira story centers around Minoru Tanaka and how he uses the Death Note in such a clever way by gaining fortune and not writing a single name in the Death Note, avoiding the original purpose of the Death Note, which is to write people's names and put them 6 feet under. The Shinigami King didn't like the fact that a human was profiting off a Death Note and not using it for its original purpose. Therefore, by the end of the one-shot, we learned that the king instilled a new rule amongst all Death Note, which is that a human who buys or sells a Death Note will die, which ineffectively prevents a human from profiting off selling a Death Note. I use this comparison in particular because the Shinigami King in Death Note did not like that a human used the Death Note in an incorrect way, much like how the Otsutsuki Clan will look at Boruto and Kawaki for using the karma. The karma is bestowed upon a vessel to resurrect the Otsutsuki who bestowed the seal, not for the vessel to simply profit over the power granted to them by the karma seal. And to make matters worse, Kawaki said that he will use the Otsutsuki Clan's own power to destroy them. Now I know the Otsutsuki Clan isn't having that. Just think of how that logic sounds. That's like how Danzo indirectly destroyed the Uchiha Clan while making use of the Uchiha Clan's power in the interim. That's crazy, right? Boruto and Kawaki are illegal Otsutsuki in the way that they both cheated karma, and the Otsutsuki Clan will come to Earth and deliver their form of divine punishment. I'm also looking forward to the future lore of the Otsutsuki Clan, namely where the Ten Tails come from and their symbiotic relationship with the Otsutsuki. Since Code most likely didn't do any training over the time skip, and now Boruto and presumably Kawaki are stronger than him, I can't see Code sacrificing either Boruto or Kawaki to the Ten Tails at this point. So in my mind, the only way Code is going to be able to become Otsutsuki is if he kidnaps Amado and takes Shibai's remains from him and feeds that to the Ten Tails instead. Which is a long shot, but I can't see Code beating Boruto or Kawaki at this point. And unless the Otsutsuki Clan comes to Earth, there won't be any other Otsutsuki around to feed the Ten Tails for a chakra fruit. We're also 3 chapters in, and we haven't seen Amado yet, so I think he's due for an appearance next chapter. And since Boruto is in contact with toads, I can only assume that Kashin Koji's appearance is around the corner as well. It'll probably be a few more chapters until we figure out what has happened to Sasuke. And that's my favorite character. I hope they didn't do him dirty. But I'm sure Sasuke's not dead. But once again, like I said, I'm very impressed with Boruto's development. If Boruto is this strong now, and he didn't even use his Karma Seal, I can only imagine how strong Borushiki is. And I also want to see if Kawaki unlocked any new abilities of his unnamed dojutsu. As for Code, Kishimoto is saving him for something special. Like I said in my chapter review, Kawaki could have easily killed Code as soon as Boruto jumped out of the way. But Kishimoto let him escape, so I know he's planning something big for Code. In part 1, when Code was said to have limiters, I was under the assumption that the claw mark on his head was the limiter. When the white Karma Seal was explained, I was under the assumption that the claw mark on his head was the limiter which was holding back the horn from sprouting. But it doesn't make sense that Code would be able to sprout a horn given that he's not Otsutsuki. And he clarifies later on when his limiters are lifted that the limiters were restricting the number of claw marks he'd be able to conjure up at one given moment. But I do think whenever Code becomes Otsutsuki that the claw mark on his forehead will be unsheathed to reveal an eye of some sort. Or even Code's scarred left eye. I believe Code will get a dojutsu of some sort going forward. And he needs everything he can get. Code has been taking L after L after L after L. It's kinda ridiculous at this point. But I'm not gonna underestimate Code. All this anger that Code has built up with all these L's will make Code come out stronger than ever down the line. I'm calling that now. I'm not gonna make the mistake of underestimating Code just like I did Toby. And look how Toby ended up. And regarding the Otsutsuki Clan, all of the Otsutsuki are based off of Japanese folklore and mythology. Ishiki is based off of Ishinboshi, From a Japanese folktale, Momoshiki is based off of Momotaro, Kenshiki is based off of Kintaro, Shiki is based off of Urashima Taro. You can see where I'm going with this. All of that was going to be a video of its own, but after reading chapter 4, I held off on releasing it. After the events of chapter 5, with us knowing the flashback of what happened to Boruto over the time skip, the Earth as we know it has become a battlefield to the ensuing Shinju and humanity. The Ten Tails becoming sentient and going after specific people is the worst possible outcome, because consuming the one their instinct is drawing them towards could in turn lead the Shinju to undergo even another transformation. As we know, they still have to consume Boruto or Kawaki to achieve their final form, but they can still become stronger by other means. I believe Shibai's remains will be the wild card in all this. Shibai was said to have transcended his body and evolved into true godhood. However, Amado has stated that all that remains of Shibai are his remains. I would assume Amado knows where Shibai's corpse is located, but I don't think it's in Amado's possession as of now. I say that because I'm sure he would have told the Leaf he has Shibai's corpse as he was explaining Ada and Damon's abilities. And he modeled Ada and Damon, so he should know where Shibai's remains are located. I say Shibai's remains are the wild card because the Ten Tails are supposed to devour live Otsutsuki, but what kind of phenomena would take place if the Shinju consumed Shibai's corpse? Would that affect Shibai at all now that he's transcended his body? And how would consuming the remains affect the Shinju? Though Shibai's body is dead, his soul is not. I believe Amado will set plans in motion to make the remains get discovered, just like how Amado let the coordinates of the Ten Tails dimension get discovered by the crashed blimp in part 1 of Boruto. If Amado is truly manipulating code, then it could be code who uncovers Shibai's remains first. But either way, the Shinju will be the ones to consume Shibai's remains. Oh, it's been years, and I mean years, guys, but longtime Boruto fans, you can't forget what Kenshiki said before he and Momoshiki even approached this dimension looking for Kaguya. The space curvature exceeds 16. Anything over 10 in the space curvature is an abnormality and must be reported to the clan immediately. That is law. We have had all these battles going on in the past 19 years since the Great Ninja War in Shippuden with the Ten Tails and the Otsutsuki that have arrived to Earth in the interim. We can't dismiss the fact that the Otsutsuki Clan could be here at any time amidst all this chaos. Between Code, the Shinju, and Amado trying to revive Akebi Sanzu, Kawaki still wants to kill Boruto, and on top of all of that, we still haven't seen the 2 missing Otsutsuki from the broken tablet in the Ten Tails dimension. At the very start of Boruto Part 1, Urashiki told Torneri before he sealed him away that the clan was aware of everything that had happened prior to that point in time. I believe the Otsutsuki clan will become distraught knowing that the tree in which they use to harvest chakra fruits has become sentient and is slowly forming its own ideals and demeanor through each of its separate consciousness. Also, having more of the clan come to Earth could unveil a lot of backstory regarding Momoshiki and Ishiki. Momoshiki and Kenshiki were dispatched to Earth, so there's the question of who's the higher ranking or authority who dispatched them in the first place. And why wasn't Ishiki mentioned when only Kaguya was mentioned? Did Ishiki really go rogue from the clan? All these questions got me so hyped for the future of Two Blue Vortex. Regarding Jura, I believe he's either Jigen or Ishiki. He was hovering above a cube in chapter 5 when the panel switched to the Shinju, and I've seen other creators' videos on their opinions on who it could be. I've seen some say it's Kawaki or that it's even Gaara, but when we saw Jura in the sky in chapter 4, we also saw that he had Tomoe on his chest, and the only one we've seen with Tomoe on his chest is Ishiki. We'll know for sure because since Jura is planning to consume Naruto, he'll have to go through Kawaki, and because Naruto is currently sealed in Black Heaven, the Daikokuten dimension, If Jura or Jigen is Ishiki like I believe, and I mentioned it in my chapter review as well, the dynamics between Jura and Kawaki could be very interesting. I say it can be interesting because Jura could have inherited the psychological control that Jigen/Ishiki had over Kawaki. Moreover is the fact that the Shinju could evolve to the point to where they could retrieve Naruto from the Daikokuten dimension themselves, but in my opinion, that would be pushing it. They shouldn't be able to achieve that feat as they are now unless someone as powerful or the remains of Shibai gets consumed. I also believe that Hidari could be a wild card and could end up like Android 16 from Dragon Ball Z. I say that because we know now from watching Naruto that the Ten Tails, not the Otsutsuki, are the progenitors of the Rinnegan and Sharingan respectively. The Uchiha clan inherited the Sage's Eyes, which were derived from the Rinnegan and Sharingan. And on top of that, Sasuke is the reincarnation of Indra Otsutsuki, who is at least a quarter Otsutsuki. The Shinju having bidden Sasuke is simply overlaying a pseudo Sentails template with an enhanced Ten Tails. Hidari has Sasuke's Sharingan overlaid with his own Rinnegan as a Shinju. We learn in Naruto Shippuden that an Uchiha's eyes are tied to their emotions, and seeing how in chapter 5 of Two Blue Vortex, Hidari was the one Shinju to question their existence, it will make him think once or twice and even become hesitant in his battle to come with Sarada. Uchiha love deeply, and I believe that this concept will be explored in the dynamics between Hidari and Sarada going forward in Two Blue Vortex. So this is going to be the final video uploaded in 2023. I only started YouTube a couple months ago and I'm already almost at 500 subscribers. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it, and I promise I'm going to be putting out even better content in 2024 and beyond. I'm going to try to get out videos more frequently and faster, and I definitely have more new content coming. I'm going to do more anime besides Boruto, and I definitely saw the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 trailer. I'm so hyped for that. Gameplay videos are on the way for sure, most def. And even though I'm a bit late on it, there will be Storm Connection gameplay soon. I'm gonna buy it this weekend and my friend's gonna come over and we're gonna play it. So expect a game review in the coming weeks or possibly next month, meaning around February. But I know what a lot of you guys are already thinking. Storm's Connections is trash. But just hear me out. It's really just a placeholder game at this point. If you know, between all the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storms, they had placeholder games in between them. Like Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations or Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution. Storm Connections is just a game in between. I bet we'll get Storm 5 close to the end of Two Blue Vortex. And Storm 5 will truly be the best Storm game of all time. Again, I really thank you guys for the support. 2024, I really hope to make a name for myself in the space. Drop in the comments other animes you want me to review, or video ideas that you want. I promise I'll give them all some consideration. But I do have a lot of stuff Naruto and Boruto related I can talk about. It's literally dozens and dozens of things I could think of. But I'm just rambling at this point. I wish you all a good new year, and I hope you achieve the goals that you're setting out for yourself. Stay tuned for the next video. Later.
俺は忍びだ。